Greetings gamers and welcome to MVPiece. I'm Aaron Crow and these are the best things I saw at Origins Game Fair. Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio is easily one of my favorite board game conventions. A big part of that is probably because it was my first ever gaming convention. But I also just love the exhibit hall. I love their events. I made chainmail. I went to a mead tasting. I went to the Smithy's Bad Movie Awards. And the food. Love the food. I could live in that North Market. Live there. Love the food. And of course, I love those games, of which I definitely saw a lot, shopped a lot, and definitely played a lot. These are my favorite games that I played at Origins 2022. We're sinking! This one is coming soon to Kickstarter and has players take on the roles of pirates who are on a sinking ship that is battling a monster. The cool thing about it, there's a few cool things about it. The first cool thing about it is that there's multiple ways to win. It's a semi-cooperative game, so you're working together to defeat the monster. And if you defeat the monster and the ship does not sink, then whoever has accumulated the most treasure during the game wins the game. However, treasure weighs you down. So if the monster destroys your ship and the ship sinks, then it's actually the player who has the least treasure and is the lightest player who can actually swim to the surface for that victory. And what better prize than being the sole survivor lost at sea? It's a really fun social game because there's secret action selection. So you can see what parts of the ship need tending to, and so you're all communicating and deciding, okay, well, I'm going to help with this task, but there's always the loot option. So I could say that I'm gonna bucket all this water, but really, I'm just gonna sneak in and take that treasure. So the most noticeably cool thing about this game is that the plastic ship in the middle actually has removable layers. So as your ship takes damage and as it fills with water and starts sinking, you actually remove those layers and visually get to see the ship sinking into the ocean. But not only that, each layer you remove holds secret cargo. And those tokens are added to also kind of entice players who might say they're doing one thing, but then dash over there to see what those might hold. I was very impressed with this game and I can't wait to back it. Next up, Bigfoot Roll and Smash. This game was catching everyone's eye. You're walking through the halls, you look over and you see these big, beefy tires that players are rolling as dice. So on a player's turn, they roll all four of them across the table, and whichever side is face up determines different actions. To purchase maneuvers in a programming fashion to navigate efficiently and entertainingly through this big muddy obstacle course. This one was a lot of fun to play and obviously just has such a dominating table presence. Keep an eye on this one. Kabuto Sumo. This one has been around for a little bit, but it was the first time I actually got to play it. And not only did I get to play it, they had a giant jumbo version, and we got hands on that. But they were also previewing an expansion to the game, which adds some really fun layers and unique shapes and decisions as you're pushing and sliding all these little discs off of this arena. Very unique game. Heroes of Barcadia. This is another one you couldn't help but walk by and be a little curious once you saw it. Heroes of Barcadia is a dungeon crawl drinking game. While normally filled with adult beverages, the convention was demoing with fun, colorful water. Each heroic pint glass has health on it, so as you're taking damage as you explore and fight monsters, you're actually drinking, or in our case pouring into a gross punch bowl, to deplete your health. As you explore, you might find portals, you might find special loot or items, but your goal is to find the boss monster and defeat him before anyone else can. This one was a lot of fun. Brew by Pandasaurus Games was one I had never heard of, wasn't on my radar at all. But its art just pulled me in right away. It was immediately a world I wanted to roll some dice in, which is good because a big part of the mechanics are rolling dice. You roll dice to see what your options are in kind of a worker placement fashion, but it's also an area control game as you're trying to win certain territories. True to the name of the game, you can also brew powerful potions, but the thing I became obsessed with is recruiting animal companions, which are all so charming and adorable, and I want them in real life. Like the artwork, I found the gameplay really clean and elegant. So I was very eager to add this one to my collection. And it came with cool holographic companion pets. Also at Pandasaurus was Sobek, an interesting two-player game co-designed by industry juggernaut Bruno Cathala, and it has a lot of familiar Cathala-isms in terms of scoring. You're trying to collect large sets of things, but also tiles that have multipliers to really get the most out of your sets. What makes it unique is that players take turns moving this Ankh to claim a tile, and the tile they take dictates the direction of the Ankh, which indicates which rows of tiles the other player can choose from. So you gotta pay attention to make sure you are getting what you want, but also that your opponent isn't getting the things that they want. A lot of this going on right here. Yeah. You've probably heard the hype on Veiled Fate, so I definitely had to try that out, especially when the gameplay demo was on the premium wooden board, which is absolutely stunning. Regarding the hype, I'm here to tell you, it's really good. The artwork and graphic design immediately pull you in. And the gameplay is simple on the surface, but has a lot of depth. It's a social game and you don't want people to know what your role is. So every move actually has a lot of weight because you don't want to be too obvious about certain things, but at the same time, you do need to advance your goals. And it's also just very well balanced in that there's really not a runaway. Everyone's in the game. After the first round, it seemed like someone was really shooting off ahead, but a couple of small moves can actually make big swings in the scores. I only got to play the first 2 rounds of this in a 3-player game, and I am dying to play a full game with a full player count, because I think that's when this game will really shine. I can't wait to play it again. Wild Space is another one that really lured me in with some charming character art, and I'd consider it a very quick gateway game into combo building. You're recruiting different characters with different skill sets for scoring, but also trying to tactically recruit ones that will allow you to play more cards and really chain those to have a big turn where you could really throw down like maybe 4 or 5 cards. It teaches quick and it plays quick, and those are 2 things I love in a game. Decorum is a really cool and unique cooperative game. The concept is that players are moving into the same house together, and each of them has their own personal requirements or tastes for what cohabitating looks like. There are several scenarios, and what you do on your turn is you make some change to your house. Maybe it's painting a room a certain color, maybe it's swapping out an antique lamp for a modern lamp, maybe it's removing a painting, could be a lot of things. But the fun part is that after you make a move, all of the other players will communicate, and they encourage you to role play a little bit, but they'll let you know how they feel about the decision you made. So if I decide to paint a room green, one player might say, oh, that's fine, you do you. But the other player might say, I just can't with that color. We had some history, me and that green, and we can't do it. I can't. So the whole game is figuring out the puzzle of you making sure that all of your needs are met, but also deducing what the other players need to also be content in the same house. This is one where the demo immediately had me wanting to play more, but I hesitated and they sold out. Why? But I'll hopefully have another chance at Gen Con, and I can't wait. And there are lots of cool games I didn't get to actually play, but were on display and that look amazing. Castles by the Sea by Brotherwise Games, Power Plants, Castle Panic Deluxe Edition, whoo man, Block and Key, Hooli, Wonderbook, a lot of very eye-catching 3-dimensional games. I found Waldo, he was right there. I played some Blood on the Clock Tower, I played some 2 Rooms in a Boom. If you ever go to a gaming convention, do yourself a favor and play 2 Rooms in a Boom. One of the best convention experiences you could possibly have, trust me. It was a great Origins and I got to play a lot of games, but I hope you enjoyed my favorites and maybe were introduced to something you didn't hear about. Well, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, because I'm definitely gonna be doing some Gen Con coverage and I can't wait.